let's get started. So this week, old Batya, Brooks Orpik, retired. Good night.
Bye.
Like,
Yeah.
Did you see how he said he had to take the elevator in
Yeah, that
Rogers
was
Center because he can't take the stairs anymore? Like last season, he was just taking the elevator because his knee was so bad. And he was like, I guess at this point when I physically cannot bend my leg without pure agony, now is when I should retire hockey.
that must be a fate worse than death for him. Yeah, Eva.
So I knew this would happen to me because I'm pretty notoriously lukewarm on him as a player, and like maybe once a calendar year I get like little 10-minute flashes of fondness. But I knew that the second he retired and then was just sort of like hanging around, and like obviously I would be shocked if he didn't come into like a coach position there someday. But so the next day he was just hanging around Kettler, kind of like checking stuff out. And I was like, I love that Brooks Orpik. I knew it happened. As soon as he wasn't a player anymore, I was like, you old goose, I love ya. So.
That's all we ever wanted was a Brooks Orpik retirement challenge to be completed. And it has.
I mean,
it has.
I feel like we kind of all knew it was coming this season, especially with like his signing shenanigans last year where he got traded to Colorado for like a minute, and then they were like, here, you can have him back, but for much cheaper, which that was a whirlwind. But I think we were all like, okay, that was just like one last wackadoo antic before he limps off into the sunset. So I was waiting for them to be like, yeah, he's not coming back. But I feel like we all had to be like, oh my goodness, bad.
Right. And I do, I feel like this is what we've always said about Brooks is that we truly enjoy him. We know he's a great locker room presence. I just don't want to see him on our goddamn blue line anymore. And now he's not. And he leaves behind a legacy of great love and respect. And hopefully he'll be a coach. And again, still won't have to watch him play defense and be bad at it. So that's great. It's a win-win. The last thing I wanted to say about Brooks Orpik was that there was a headline in the Post, but the headline in his retirement article was "The defense rests," and I think that's very funny and good. So I just wanted to give you guys a shout out for that one.
Yeah.
You're all making faces. I thought it was good.
My opinion was
good. The only one that matters.
What are you talking about? We all laughed.
Good. Okay. Well. Then something not that chill happened this week, and that is that we lost our beloved Alabama baby thought, our littlest boy, Andre Burakovsky, to the stupid, sexy Colorado Avalanche. And let's do a little round robin. How are we feeling? Let's start with Catie. Yes, Catie.
My feelings are very clearly like. First, I'm super sad. I'm really, really sad. I'm going to miss him so much. But second, I'm so happy because this is his clear spiritual home. Clearly, the Colorado Avalanche and their like energy of just like loving each other aggressively all the time, which we also do, but they do it in a much more like Twinkie kind of way.
It is
and I
extremely.
And so I feel like Andre really found his people, and he's going to be very happy in Denver. But I am sad.
I totally hear what you're saying. I also had a kind of moment of pause because I was like, it's too much of his own kind. Like it's like a little island of squirrels with no sheltering oak trees. You know what I mean? Like it's just
they've got Nate Dogg.
They have Nate Dogg and they have EJ. And they have Colin Wilson, and those are the dads, and they that's it. Should we Catie, you want to tell the people what the prospects were doing this weekend?
Yes, I do. The prospects had a wonderful time. They were in some kind of like Disney movie mountain retreat where like they learn how to play hockey through the power of lifting each other up bodily and carrying each other around. I don't know how that makes it. I mean, it was just a lot of team building, which in this case, again, is just a lot of full body hugging and contact between.
Remember how
small
those two Canadian ice dancers Tessa Virtue and Scott Moore. Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to do this warm up where they just hold each other for like 10 minutes and they sync up their heartbeat.
Yeah.
That's like literally what
That
the
was
Colorado
it.
does. They just
But like at camp, they do
But
that.
at camp.
Yeah.
Yes, Eva.
My favorite one they played was they posted a video, and like I know we've said this, but give whoever does the Colorado social media
Huge raise.
a 1,000,000,000% raise, because they have their third eye wide open and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But the one game that they were playing, and a game feels pretty loose, but it seemed to be like a version of musical chairs where like you're walking around there. It's just all these big dumb hockey hunks walking around in a field, and then some woman shouts "birdie on a perch," and like you have to pair up and one has to jump into the other's arms. Left without, or like the last one to jump into someone's arms, I guess, is out. And I was just like, I saw that and I was like, you know what? Andre's gonna be just fine.
Berkey on a perch.
The other element is that they film everything and they put it on the internet, which is a blessing. So I feel kind of like, although it's like an open adoption, you know, like I'll still get pictures, I'll still be able to see him. You know what I mean? Like it's not a goodbye forever. It's just he's gone to a home. They can better care for him, but they're going to send me pictures periodically, and it's going to be fine.
Yes. Well, I will say apparently he really wanted a top 6 forward position, and they just could not guarantee that for him in DC. So, and they can in Colorado. So I think he's going to thrive. He's going to have our second best baby, Philip Grubauer, will be there as well to look out for him. So that'll be great. And now we all got to root for the Avs, I guess. Eva, did you say your feelings? I kind of got distracted there. I'm not good at holding nuanced feelings at the same time.
So like I do recognize that that's the only other team that he's going to thrive in, like even more so than he did with us. But I'm very sad. And then I was kind of trying to explore why, and I was like, I think one of the reasons it made me so sad, just kind of personally, was I was like, oh, he was like the first hockey player all 4 of us saw together. And we put like our little picture together. True. So I think that kind of lodged in my head and was like, that one was ours.
Have we put that on? We got to put that back on Twitter.
Yeah, when his sneakers were so white and his thumb was so bandaged.
So
and he was so cold.
So warm.
Yeah.
Why was he not wearing a jacket?
Because he's a stupid baby. It's like when 4th graders go outside at recess and you have to say, no, you have to put the coat on, not just put the hood on your head, put your arms through it. And
honestly, just putting the coat on at all is like a struggle, I'll say. The other thing is I'm in Colorado right now and for my cousin's wedding. Good for Harris. Very exciting. However, I will say the altitude is a real situation with regard to the drinking. And actually, the bride in one of her speeches at the whole wedding, it's like, please be careful of the altitude. It's not a joke. Please drink water and pace yourselves. And I feel like someone needs to tell Andre Burakovsky that. Yeah, someone needs to tell Andre Burakovsky that like every day, like every afternoon after they leave practice. Just Andre, just FYI, like just
keep hydrating, bud.
Yeah. Do you remember where you are? But I do think he can use that to his advantage. He'd just be like, "Oh, my head! I'm
the altitude.
Somebody can carry me back to the hospital."
Berkey on a perch.
Berkey on a perch.
I think now that we have to bid farewell to him is a good time to tell everyone the truth, which you already knew, which is that the one stylist that Catie and I met that time was indeed Andre Burakovsky's stylist. He is indeed the one who does not know how to use a Tide pen and buys the same shirt 16 times and gave her his address right away. And she was like, please don't.
Please don't give me your social security number. We just met.
That was officially the worst kept secret of all time.
It was. Nobody didn't know that, but now everyone knows that.
You know who I'm sad for? I'm sad for Tom Wilson.
Oh,
he's the last Robine. He's the last one.
But you know who else I'm sad for?
But he's growing up, you know.
Is it Juice?
Eva, who are you sad for?
Juice.
Oh, no, I think he's relieved.
I think
super fine with that.
No. And I like, you know how when you have like one like frantic parakeet and like one old tired dog who just wants to sleep.
Yeah.
But like that frantic parakeet is giving them kind of like a reason and like a thing.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hashtag a dog's purpose. So
I mean, I hear you. I also think that maybe his purpose will be getting a real contract and not being injured for the
That would be
entire
a
season.
great
And
purpose.
he won't need a baby as badly as he did when he didn't have a job. So now he'll have a job.
That's also maybe taking care of a baby took away from some of the other things in his life that he had to do. He had
you want me to be on the
to
blue
make
line
dinner for Andre Burakovsky.
and keep Andre alive?
You know, yeah, I can't do both. Pick one.
Like I finally have time to start that garden now that I'm not every other night.
I'm gonna read All the Light We Cannot See. I meant to read it for years. Time.
Couldn't get a moment to myself, and now the apartment's quiet.
It's when Nicholas Backstrom like welcomes Juice back into the locker room. Like, this is exactly how I felt when Andre moved out. Like, I have free time again.
Nikki and Juice are like empty nesters, and it's they're gonna live there. They're gonna go on a cruise. They're gonna have a great time.
You know, I hope they start to. Yeah, I really hope they start to do the weird shit that Brookie and Juice did together, just to try and see if they would like doing it. Like they both get on a tandem bike, and they're like, "Actually, this sucks. This is weird. I don't. Gotta have a Brookie. Can't do this." You know who I am sad though is Jacob Brana. Jacob Brana has lost all of his. He lost his Madison Bowie. He lost his Batya. And now he's lost his brosham, as he mysteriously referred to Andre Burakovsky on Instagram, and he lost his DSP. It's just
Beans. That's so sad for Beans.
No, and the Czech media were so mean to him at Worlds, but at least him and Kuzi. I know. At least him and Kuzi will be able to bond over being wronged and maligned.
Listen, we have one enormous Czech teddy bear coming to the Caps in the fall. And he is going to wrap that little Czech baby in his arms.
That's so nice.
And it's going to be fine.
That's really nice. Well, the other upside, besides the ones that we have discussed here of this loss, is that it has cleared out a minuscule amount of cap space for a value brand third line winger. Not a great third line winger, but one, certainly. And it looks like it's not probably going to be Brett Connolly. It looks like he might have done such a good job in the last couple of years with us that he might have priced himself right out of what we're going to be able to afford, which sucks, because if I could pick one, I would just stick with him. I think he's doing great, and I don't see why we should lose my dreamboat, but here we are. So do you guys have any thoughts about who you would like to see on that line with Hags and whoever else it is who's on the third line? I forget already.
I don't remember anymore. We've lost so many.
Lost Ella!
Yes, exactly. So who do you want to see with Eller and Hags? What blonde European should we see?
That's what I was going to say. I think another blonde European.
What about that Swede with the hair? How is he? Is he a center? Is he he's
Axel
a wing?
Johnson Fjallby?
He's a baby and he's not ready, but like
he's a baby and he's super not ready.
But
aesthetically, yes.
Like, can you imagine the hairline? Like, amazing.
Oh, it's almost too much. I think he is a center.
Screaming from Colorado. I was like, hair in Sweden.
Oh no, he is a winger.
Oh, good. Yeah. So let's put him in. He's not going to be good, but he will be very handsome.
Didn't they say that him and Alexiev are getting pretty close to being ready to come up?
Yeah.
So.
He lost a step last year, I heard, because he went back to Sweden and
he did go back.
And instead of playing all year in the AHL, and then when they called him up for the playoffs, he was like, I don't remember how to do this ice because I'm used to the big ice, but I'm beautiful, so it's fine.
But it's so beautiful.
Let's put him on that line though, because it'll be ludicrous and stupid.
It will. No, I love that idea, and
I don't believe in being good at hockey right now. I just want to see some hair, wafting about,
flowing on both sides of Lars Eller, like two Valkyries accompanying the chariot of Freya. Great. I mean, that sounds awesome.
Exactly.
But what if we wanted a
Stone
real
cold
NHL
idiots.
player? What if we wanted someone who can play hockey? Oh yeah, Eva, what?
I kind of stand by thinking that it would be fun if your stupid boyfriend Chris Kreider came.
It would, but there's absolutely no way he's going to take on a third line.
Probably not. But just because he wasn't, the rumor was him being in talks with Colorado, and then with Berkey going to Colorado, and it opens up the spot. I don't know.
I mean, that would obviously be incredibly horny for me personally, and it would break up the Aryan sameness of that third line, which would again be nice for me personally.
Can I just say that I can't dispute it, but I don't like putting Hags and Lars Eller in the same category because they exemplify very different responses to a blonde for me.
Yeah, the energies are very different. To be sure. They are both blonde, and therefore I will continue to refer to them as the Aryan third line until such time as I personally become uncomfortable with it. But I do hear what you're saying. They're not the same. First of all, Lars Eller is a Stanley Cup hero, and Carl Hagelin is just a 2-time Stanley Cup champion for other teams that don't matter. You know who I don't know anything about, but I heard we might be going after is Jonas Donskoy. Jonas Donskoy, is that? Do you guys know this?
Eva, I mean, that's definitely a name I've heard, but I don't know anything about it.
All I know about it is that the name Jonas is spelled with 2 O's, and that's fun for me.
Are we sure it's not Jonas?
Jonas.
No, I'm certainly not sure of that.
I already have a Jonas.
Jonas.
We have a Jonas, but we don't have a Jonas. A Jonas.
A Yona and a Yuna. Wasn't there talks that we might be going with, that there was like a vague possibility that Ryan Hartman might come too?
There was, yes.
I would love
he's
that.
Out in nature and like still doesn't know that he's not on the Flyers.
Did you see that?
Did you see his Instagram post?
He was like,
No?
I knew the whole time, thank you, which sounds exactly like something someone
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, no.
He posted,
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, he posted an Instagram post of literally a seaplane coming to the middle of nowhere, Ontario, where he's been hiding out in like a cave, presumably. And he's like, "This is actually how I found out that I got traded, was by seaplane, like bringing." And like that fulfills that like very Niski energy that we're gonna be missing this fall. Of like, which one of these men is most likely to disappear into the woods for a week? Like, I wouldn't have a good answer for that if we didn't bring Hartsey in. And so that's...
I don't know, but Hartsey's such a little gremlin, though. He does not have that calm dad energy to me.
Yeah, but if we had a combination Niskanen and Gremlin, a Gremskillen, a Niskagrem, wouldn't that be kind of dope? Wouldn't that be kind of a fascinating combination?
Yeah. I say yes. I vote yes for bringing Hartsey in. I would love that.
No, I'm totally into it. I don't personally see much of the Niski in there, but I'd be intrigued to be
ended at he was in the woods for a week. That was as far as
alerted by seaplane.
Yeah,
or
alerted by seaplane
the whole time, which is, as Eva rightly says, exactly what you would say if you had no idea the entire time.
Yeah.
So there's possibilities. I'm excited to find out what happens. I was so bummed that all we got back was pics because when you send away a boy, I want a new boy to love. And instead you gave me some AHL player I couldn't possibly be bothered to Google. Before we go on, I want to have a little, if the producers could play the intro to Vitamin C's graduation day behind this, that would be ideal. If not, that's fine, but you should. As we bid farewell to our very own Andre Burakovsky with some favorite moments. Who has a Berkey moment they'd like to share? Kelly?
I think the iconic Berkey moment is when he got into a random car thinking that it was his Uber. And then he just let them give him a ride.
There was the same car as I ordered. I opened the door and I just asked them, "Is this Uber for Andre?" And they said, "No, man, sorry, we're not an Uber driver." But then they recognized me and offered me a ride home. And they're pretty cool guys. I mean, they're nice. So me and my friends were just like, "Yeah, let's just go." And we jumped in and it took us home. So
that's iconic Andre Burakovsky, and it's just a beautiful anecdote that really explains everything you need to know about him.
Oh, it's so good. And made them take a selfie with him.
Yep, sure did.
Oh, God, he's going to get sold someday.
Mm-hmm.
Catie.
Oh, my favorite is when they did that FBI team building activity where they all did wrestling, and there's just that picture of Nicholas Backstrom having, of course, wrestled Andre to the ground, and he's pushing his face into the gym mat and smiling at the camera with like the most genuine glee on his face, and it's
my God.
really just, it's perfect.
Yeah, Eva.
Mine is the Instagram video he posted of himself with the golf ball in his mouth, spitting it out, and then hitting it out of midair. Because that was just some classic Andre thought antics. It was just like, there he is. Dumb dog tricks.
God, it is stupid puppy tricks, which inexplicably like went viral outside of hockey fans, and people were like, "Who is that guy at that golf ball?" Which is like, what do you ladies? What do you think sex is? Like, what do you think is gonna happen? I have a couple. I have so many. There's so many. There's like the real one, which is of course Game 7, Tampa, 2018, when he scored 2 goals with his little jersey flapping behind him as he steered into the goal, and we were so proud of him. And then there's every time he's ever shown up on another teammate's social media, such as Justin Williams posting that photograph of him snugged into the comforter with Ovi that says, keeping the kid warm. That's leadership, baby. But also that time that Jacob Brana made him repeat when they were on vacation. and Brana's like, "Okay, say it again, buddy. What career?" Or whatever he asked, like, what job do you think you should have? And Burakovsky, like, dead serious, is like, "I could see myself working as a dolphin trainer. It looks pretty fun." And Jacob Braun is like, "No, buddy.
Please don't.
Please don't, buddy."
Oh, and I love that happened on their dumb little brocation too.
I know. Their boycation at Sandals or where Atlantis.
Which I know because I've been there twice. So.
Kind of an expert. Yes, Catie.
I have an honorable mention that I just want to say really quick, which is that time that Nicholas Backstrom and Marcus Johansson pranked Andre Burakovsky with a Swedish magazine or newspaper or something like that. And they set him up to look like a real idiot, and they were laughing the whole time, and it was really funny and good, and I loved it.
Oh, do you know what I really liked?
What?
I just liked that one time he was trying to answer a question about his favorite restaurant, and he tried to say Chipotle on camera.
Total.
Oh yeah,
Chipotle. I love Chipotle.
I really like Chipotle. Yeah. That's really good. Chicken burrito.
I'm just thinking about how many videos he's going to be on for the Colorado Avalanche who have a good social media presence. Oh my God.
Great. Oh, that's good. That is, you're so right. Open adoption. That's going to be great. Also, remember every time that a teammate has talked about pranking him and how fucking easy it is and how they do it all the time. And you actually probably have to tell him that he's been pranked, or he just doesn't know. And it's just like, oh, this is how life goes, I guess. Like,
yeah.
What was that article about him that was like, it's like having a kindergartner and everyone else is a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, it was Jacob De La Rose on the Swedish national team.
I gotta say, yes, I can't wait for the Colorado Avalanche, who I think are around, I would say 3rd to 4th graders.
Yeah.
For the most
part. Not
part.
quite kindergartners, but
but they're going to be trying to teach him about the world incorrectly. It's going to be great.
Amazing. Yeah, Jacob De La Rose said, it's amazing watching him out there. It's like there are 30 kindergarten teachers and 1 child. And Andre is the child. And then later in the article, I think Jacob De La Rose, like, yet again tricks him into saying something stupid. And he's like, "What were you saying about monkeys, Andre? You want to repeat what you were saying about monkeys?" And Andre's like, "I just learned that they eat bananas from the other side."
Honestly,
He's so pure.
I know I'm like becoming jealous of just the unencumbered unself-consciousness of being Andre Burakovsky. He's just there doing his thing, god damn it. And I wish God, I wish that were me. It's just like a wonderful, surprising existence every day. New things to discover and be delighted in.
So
there
true.
goes a special boy.
There goes a special boy.
Our Felipe.
Oh, God. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Okay, well, what did you say? You would what?
I said I could definitely see myself working as a dolphin trainer. Looks pretty fun.
No, please don't, buddy.
And now we're going to move from a baby to the most middle-aged man that ever there was. As we continue our exploration of trade antics, we got to talk about Philip Kessel, who this week fulfilled his long-time promise and went to Arizona.
That bitch played the Penguins so hard.
Kelly, you want to talk about what he seems to have done? What are the shenanigans?
I love this. Okay, so back in like 100 million years ago when he was on the Toronto Maple Leafs, they granted him, when they signed him, they granted him a limited no trade, which meant that he could do a list of the teams he'd be okay traded to. There's like 8 of them. And then we went to the Penguins. He was like, you know what I want to do? Like, I think the best thing for me to do is list 7 teams I know that they will never trade me to, and Arizona, which is where I want to go. Suck it. And then, like, during the whole process, he proceeds to make the Penguins look like an incredibly shoddy organization, which I also am like, wow. Because, like, you can't, like, a lot of players you can kind of play, and you can say, like, their GM can be like, yes, it was a great decision on both of our parts. We both agreed to this. We loved it. Everyone was very happy. And Phil Kessel was like, no. The last time I saw this dude, he was like, you will never be a Penguin again. But, like, whatever he wants to say, I guess.
Okay, so the no trade clause, that has been a thing for a while. We knew Phil had 8 teams that he was allowed to be traded to, and then he had this no trade clause blocking from everybody else. And then it was recently revealed that 7 of those teams, it was like the Caps and the Flyers and the Leafs, who it's like obviously they're not gonna send him there. Like the Islanders, no, obviously not. And then Arizona. But then the other thing that happened is that he was on a conference call with the press and the Coyotes, and was like, no, yeah, I know Jim says that I really asked a lot to be traded, but actually, like, Jim walked up to me and was like, you'll never be a Penguin again. So I don't know, like, whatever Jim wants to say, I guess. And it just was delightful. I mean, who do you guys believe?
Oh, Phil.
Oh, Phil, for sure. No question.
Phil, 100%.
Because also Phil doesn't have to ask to be traded. Phil's just like, like, you know, it just doesn't. I can't see him being like, Jimothy, I would like to request a trade. I think perhaps this situation is not best suited to the two. No, he just sits there eating fucking Fritos, like with the little, what are those cone ones that you stick your hands
Bugles
into? Bugles, just eating Bugles and being like, yeah, okay, you can do what you want, Jim. Yeah.
Yeah, and did you guys see that Athletic article that was just like a whoo boy, like you really are trying to spin this, aren't you, Pittsburgh? There was basically all of our problems are Phil Kessel, and he's 100% of our problems, and actually he's the problem why Yevgeny Malkin doesn't want to play defense and like why he doesn't want to back check it all. That's because Phil Kessel is a bad influence, and also because he doesn't get along with coaches, and so he encourages Gino, and Gino's just very susceptible to that. So
I
have to say, not need help being a pain in the ass.
No, it's one of my favorite storylines that like Gino would be a very well-behaved member of the class if he wouldn't sit next to Philip.
Just separate their desks once and for all.
It's not gonna work, buddy.
No,
it's not gonna work.
No, he doesn't want to play defense. Like he's not gonna do it.
And the article was like he got better, and then when Phil came, he got worse again. Okay. So we're just saying he's just the bad influence. He's terrible.
Yes, Eva.
Well, I just, like, number one, I never believe anything like the organizations and management say about player decisions. But I also do think that, like, the Penguins were very, like, they were doing that, like, over-explaining thing when you're kind of lying, you know? They're like, well, actually, it was like this, and actually this is what happened, and then this and this. And I think it's just, it was such a power move for Phil to be like, well, that's not how I remember it. Wink.
I really liked Jim can say whatever he needs.
Exactly. That's what it was. Jim can say
Pretty
whatever he needs to say. I'm already on a fucking golf course in Tucson, baby. So keep doing what you got to do.
Exactly.
He's
God,
at Top Golf right now, having the time of his life. So great. There is a downside to this otherwise perfect story, and it is the tragedy of Alex Galchenyuk just continues. He is now going to be a penguin. He is going to look so bad in those colors. I mean, who knows? Maybe this is finally, maybe this dream will come true for him. Like, maybe he's found his little. You guys, the faces are really good right now.
I don't like. It might be kind of good because like Gino doesn't have a Russian friend, and Alex Galchenyuk is American, but he's a native Russian speaker. So like maybe they can ease each other's experiences a little bit, and maybe bring. I don't know. Like I hear a lot of things about how Gino doesn't want to hang out with anyone, which like respect. Big
He's
respect.
a cat. They're both
He's a
cats.
cat. He doesn't. Yeah, they're both cats. So maybe these two cats could form a beautiful friendship.
I'm
Eva.
very excited to see what all of the prickly little cats in a room together, like what happens there. Because you've got your fucking Chucky, you've got Gina, you've got Chris Letang, and then like the tense pony of Sidney Crosby just in the middle, like back and forth between all three, being like, oh my God, someone's eyes are going to get clawed out. But actually, you know, yeah, Chucky and Gino are either going to repel as pretzels is the same magnet, or they're going to like form like this cranky Russian tacky clothes boy club of two.
I would like that.
Sidney Crosby furious. It's going to make everyone else unhappy, and they're just going to be like little garbage boys together, and I would treasure that. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be the best possible outcome. I would like that. And I hope that Gino could be like, it's just like the tendency of teams to blame all of their ills on a single player has fallen more than once upon the head of little Alex Galchenyuk, and I don't want that to happen again. And barring a miracle, the Pens are not in the greatest shape to have the most miraculous of seasons. I mean, anything could happen. It's hockey, who knows? But like, the chances that they're going to be looking for a scapegoat are fairly high, and Chucky already has a track record of being a scapegoat. So like that's what I don't like and don't want. So
that is going to really pop their clown outfit on, though, if they trade Phil Kessel and be like, Phil was the problem, and then it's like, actually, the one you selected was the real problem.
That would be amazing. I
know.
Okay. Now it's a win-win for me because if they do that, you were right. That would be insane and hilarious. Great. Okay, well, that covers that. Then there's some trades I don't care about. Then there's the scuttlebutt that is probably truth by the time you hear this, that Joe Pavelski is almost certainly leaving the San Jose Sharks. I'm sad about it. I don't have that much else to say about it, except that it's like a horrible glimpse into an alternate future where the Caps didn't win the cup in 2018, and it hurts my feelings. That's about it.
Just saying, remember all that chatter about how like Nikki maybe wanted to trade before they won, and blah, 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 blah. This could have been us.
Did it? But it didn't happen. It didn't
happen, but now it's happening to somebody else.
Listen, it was either them or us, okay?
That's what I was going to say. Condolences to Sharks fans. This is probably really a terrible time for you. I'm sorry.
I really am sorry, and I'm very sad for you. Is the talk that he's going to maybe Dallas?
That is the talk. That's what I hear.
That could be.
There's a couple other places in the running, but Dallas seems like it's the top one. He wants a chance to win.
Yeah. And I think that would be good for Dallas, too. They kind of need someone to, like, anchor those.
Steady that. Because they're like, Jamie Benn, we think, like, with Jamie Benn, you look at him and you're like, yes, he's a steady boy, right? And then you meet him and you talk to him, and then you're like, no.
Empty boy.
He's really not that for this.
Wait, what do you mean, Kelly?
Well, Jamie, you know how like you don't always like to give a captain talk because you feel awkward and nervous? Yeah, well, now you could give it to someone else, and then you can just like party with the boys afterwards.
Party with the boys?
Yeah, you don't have to talk to the media and have them end up saying like, oh my God, we don't even want to fucking try talking to that guy anymore. You can just go to Joe.
You don't have to have the real talk. You don't have to get serious, and you don't have to tell Tyler, we don't think you can adopt another dog.
Yeah.
because you already have 3, and 3 is a lot to fit in your car, and you can't have 4. Like, you don't have to have that talk. You can have Joe have that talk.
Audio subtitle, Jamie Benn stares into space for 10 straight minutes.
Yes. God.
You know that he's happy. It's wonderful. Yeah, so sad, but we'll see how that goes. The last thing I wanted to do before we move out of trade shenanigans, even though nobody asked, is that I think it would be worth explaining, because these terms come up a lot during trade season. The terms UFA and RFA, meaning unrestricted free agent and restricted free agent. And then, of course, some players get traded even though they are neither of those things. So who would like to take on the quick Wikipedia of what those two things are? Kelly, what a surprise. Thank God.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, an unrestricted free agent is free like a bird. They can sign wherever the fuck they want, and they can kind of control their system themselves. A restricted free agent means, like, technically they maybe could sign somewhere else, but like your OG team has your OG rights. So, for example, the most notorious one is Mitch Marner, who no one can shut up about. Mitch Marner can technically get an offer sheet that's like a little promise card, like a little promise ring from another team, and on the promise ring is inscribed his salary. But if Toronto, if for example he gets an offer sheet being like, hey, do you want to come to our team? We will give you X amount of dollars. If Toronto's like, actually, no, we have X amount of dollars, so we're just going to take that. Never mind. So if the team can match it, they have to stay with their OG team. But also, no one's going to poach players. It's not a thing anymore. Like NHL keeps saying, like, yeah, we're going to do offer sheets now. We're going to be crazy. We're going to be wild and new and sexy and new and crazy.
Who knows?
But like, no one's doing it because no one wants to be the one to break the seal and then incur the wrath of all the other GMs.
And bitch monitors.
And the reason why other players get traded is the same reason they get traded everywhere else. We need to get rid of money. We need to change their lineup. These things happen.
So the other thing that I think is really fun about an unrestricted free agent is it's like you can like age into it, which I think is hilarious.
Oh yeah, and also there's a deadline.
First of all,
that's important.
There's a deadline.
It's
Plus,
tomorrow,
also,
July 1st.
It's tomorrow. So it's not like some other force comes down from the clouds and is like, you are an unrestricted free agent. You have to be like, it's me. My contract expired. I am the unrestricted free agent. And if you're 26 and you haven't played in the NHL for 7 years, which is the minimum that you have to be able to play to call yourself an unrestricted free agent, you just can't. You just aren't one. You can say you are one all the time, but you're just not. You have to be 27 or you have to have played in the NHL for 7 years. It's so... And I just think that's so
dystopian.
So
it's dystopian.
Yeah, it is a little dystopian. It is a bit. So now you have your basic glossary, and now you can talk about free agency.
And the other important thing about it, the other important thing about an unrestricted free agent is when the market opens, which is tomorrow. That's when all the teams get to be tomorrow, like, I'm sexy.
Because it'll be
tomorrow being July 1st. Yeah. So for you guys, this is in the past. So this has already happened for you. But teams can start doing like a sexy little push for those free agents, being like, here's why you should come to our team. We made a PowerPoint. Like, let's show it to you. Like, they can start to make their pitches, but prior. So right now, as we record this podcast, they can only say, theoretically, if we were to sign a right winger, this is what we could possibly maybe afford. Wink, wink.
Which is what the Caps are actually doing right now. They're like, looks like we have $3 whole million. Like,
where can we give it to? Yeah.
Yeah, so now you have a little primer, or you can just Google UFA and RFA on your phone next time you need to remember what it is, whenever you
Which
want.
is every time if you're me.
Yeah. Yep, but not anymore, because now Kelly explained
Oh, yeah, this is going to stick in my brain for sure this time.
Maybe this time. All right. Great job, everybody.